This is the TSG Multimedia Podcast, bringing you the best train, model railroad, and historic preservation news, updates, and information since 2010.
We're sponsored this month by the TSG Train Crew on Patreon and by ModelRailroadControlSystems.com, Electronics for Operations, and by Podomatic, a podcast hosting and distributing platform. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm John, your host, and we're already 1 month into 2025. Thankfully, things have been a little slower around here with respect to going out and doing things. I've been spending most of my time this past month catching up on editing layout tour videos that we shot last year. Today, we're in Sacramento helping produce the virtual side of the Layout Design and Operations Weekend event, which is always a lot of fun. It's a lot of work too, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of fun as well. And more importantly, it allows people who would like to be there in person but are unable to for whatever reason, be it health issues, mobility, financial, family, whatever, to attend a really great event in a way that they're able to. That's what matters. We have the technology, so I think we'd be derelict in our duty to a great hobby and to fellow hobbyists if we didn't do this work. We did something train-related today. We're here with our friend Frank Markovich, who I think the whole time that, or close to the whole time we've been PCR members, you've been the president.
How long have you been a member?
I don't remember. It was started off with Chris and then it ended up being you.
Yeah. When Chris was president, I was vice president. So we've been president or vice president while you've been around.
But more importantly, Frank's a really good model railroader, and we've spent the last few hours looking at this really gorgeous layout that sadly is going to be taken out because Frank's moving. But it's a layout that I've actually been wanting to see for a long time, Frank, and I was not disappointed at all.
Oh, good.
Yeah. What would you tell people about your layout if you had something?
I'll keep it a little short, but my layout is based loosely off of West Side Lumber and actually a company called Pickering Lumber, which owned West Side during part of the Depression. My railroad came after West Side closed. A railroad I call Twain Harte and Sonora Pass. I call it that because we had a cabin in Twain Harte and my family spent a lot of time there. We were married in Sonora, had a reception, huge reception. There were 4 of us in Twain Harte, and I loved the area. My daughter lives up there now, and 3 of my grandkids, 2 boys and a girl, and we're up there on a regular basis. That's one of the reasons we're moving, is to be closer to our grandkids. This layout was built totally by me, with the only help I had in building it were my 2 sons and my daughter. When they were young, they helped me with laying the ties. I distressed them, and then we glued them down. They helped me with gluing them down, sanding, and then staining. I used literally a gallon of driftwood, floatwell driftwood, on the ties. Most of my structures are either Craftsman kit or scratch build, and I love details. I love structures, and if the train runs, I'm happy. I'm not an operator, but this hobby has room for model builders, operators, you name it.
I'm glad that we finally got to see it, and we'll be sad to have you out of the area.
Yeah, in another region.
Yeah, thanks for letting us document it, though, and it'll be out sometime later this year, the layout tour video.
Okay, thank you.
On January 15th, we went live with January's Talking Trains show. Piggybacking off of December's setup where the 3 of us were here in the studio live, we did that same setup again, but this time Murph and I were joined by our friend Tom Tomasello, who provided a great wrap-up of the National Narrow Gauge Convention that was held in Pittsburgh last year. I learned a lot about the narrow gauge railroads of that area from Tom's presentation. I did not realize they had so much narrow gauge back east, but I guess it makes sense that they would. Really anywhere that it makes sense to have railroads, right? Anyway, it was a great show that's worth checking out on the replay if you missed us live. Hi, we're doing something train related today. You may recall over the past few months, I've been to the SBHRS a number of times to come and help catalog artifacts, and we're back at it It's the new year. We haven't done this since, I think, November. But we're back at it today. We're going to catalog as much as we can in the few hours that we have to volunteer. But while I'm here, I wanted to mention that the SBHRS is doing a diorama challenge. And it's kind of cool. They got 3 entries, and one of them is a Lego diorama, and then the other 2 are HO scale, just still dioramas of things. One is a snow scene, and one is a kind of a desert scene. And I think it's kind of cool that SBHRS is doing this because it's encouraging people to do something different. Actually build some scenery and a tiny layout, which is kind of what we should be doing, right? So kudos to SBHRS. And we're going to get to work now and catalog as many of those artifacts as we can. Something else I've learned while we're here, because we're working on the artifact project with Robin Gilstrom, our friend from SBHRS, and he's been working on this logging area. If you've been watching the channel a long time, you'll recall I got track donated from Atlas to run, I don't know what it is, 50 or 75 feet into this corner. And we wanted to have a logging area. And there's a little town down here too that was installed. And I think Robin's done most, if not all, of the work in this area. And it's really coming together nicely. Okay, so we're just wrapping up here at SBHRS. And we've documented another close to 200 items today. Or archived, I suppose. And so we're just cleaning everything up and getting out of here. So that's almost 500 total that we've done so far in this very long process. And I don't know how many more sessions we'll need, but we haven't even started on this room. And this one has a lot of stuff in it. And now for the catches of the month. Matthew Martin sent in 2 great catches. The first is a video of Strasburg Railroad's ex-Norfolk and Western 480, number 475, pulling an excursion train through the snow at the grade crossing at Ebbenshade on January 20th, 2025. 475 is one of 3 operating steam locomotives owned by the 4.5-mile-long railroad located in Strasburg, Pennsylvania. This photograph is of the same train on the same day at the station in Strasburg. The station was recently disguised as Blacksburg, Virginia for a photo charter recreating the Norfolk and Western's Abington branch, made famous by photographs by O. Winston Link. If you have a catch you'd like to share, please send it to podcast@tsgmultimedia.com. Be sure you own the shots and tell us the what's, whens, and wheres of the shots you send in. Now, before we wrap things up, I need to tell you about one more event that I'm working on. That's the Pacific Coast Region's annual convention, which is a hybrid event, meaning it's in-person and virtual. You don't have to be a member of anything to join us virtually, and you can use the code PCR2025 to get a $10 discount off the virtual admission price, making it only $30 for 3 full days of great clinics and other activities. As with the Layout Design and Operations weekend event that we're at this weekend, the goal with the PCR Convention's virtual event is to grow and share a great hobby with as many people as possible. So please sign up today and join us. You'll have a great time, and you'll get to meet a lot of really cool and interesting people while you're at it. So once again, I'd like to thank all of our great supporters and viewers. Without you, creating this content that you enjoy on the channel would not be possible. If you're able, join us on the TSG Train Crew at patreon.com/TSG Multimedia. Supporters get behind-the-scenes updates as well as ad-free sneak previews of our featured content, often months ahead of the public release. I've made it easy to help out in other ways too, so please take a look at this video's description below and think about helping us make the content you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
If you enjoyed this program, please join the TSG Train Crew on Patreon. TSG Train Crew members get behind-the-scenes access and ad-free sneak previews in 4K ultra-high definition. Go to patreon.com/TSG Multimedia for more information.